Welcome over to Automotive World, everyone. I'm your host, Vinny Mystery, and tonight we have news coming out from Volkswagen here in the United States. Volkswagen, as you may have saw in our last sales video we did for them, Volkswagen has been killing it for actually quite a while in the United States now. And they have continued to kill it this year. And we have news because they are refreshing the entire United States lineup. So let's get right into the press release that we have from VW here. Every Volkswagen vehicle has been updated over the last 2 model years. Atlas family and the ID4 have received the most significant changes in model year 2024, and the rest of the lineup is either going to be all new or refreshed for model year 2025. And most 2025 model years are going to offer voice assistance with ChatGPT. So we have the press release here from VW talking about the Atlas and the Atlas Crossport. We have seen the model revamp for this, including with the trims. We have seen them from the technology in them to 20-inch wheels. We have seen now 15 watts of wireless charging, light assist on all trims, so we have more safety features. We have had all new design, new comfort features, different colors in terms of the actual exterior colors of the vehicle itself. The Atlas has, which is really the Atlas and the Crossport, VW's 2 bestsellers, really have, continued to hold the lead strong. Now, when we did the video recently, we did see that the Jetta was the best-selling vehicle, but Atlas and the Atlas Crossport still do, for the most part, they're a more consistent seller. We have seen those updates across the lineup. We know with the Golf GTI and the Golf R, we are going to see a facelift for 2025. We also know that the European Golf GTI was revealed in January. And not only are in the US are both models, which will come, a new Golf R will be debuting here shortly in 2025. But we have news on that because as we saw with the Golf GTI in Europe, the new Club Sport, that is a Golf GTI with almost 300 horsepower. It's 296 horsepower. So the Golf GTI and the Golf R are going to receive some very, very comprehensive upgrades, especially the Golf R, because VW, especially here in America, they're going to have to make the Golf R worth it. And if VW was to bring that Golf GTI Club Sport over here to America with 296 horsepower, a 315 or 320 horsepower Golf R as we have it right now, that's just not enough. So we're going to see some really, really big things for the Golf and the Golf R, being a facelift, and the Golf R, the European Golf R, which will debut shortly. More of those which will, more of that information which will come to the United States. ID4. This has been doing pretty solid for VW. ID4 and ID Buzz, obviously, one of the biggest things we've seen is the increased range. We have seen now with the all-wheel drive models, 335 horsepower. Really, really nice. The 282 horsepower model wasn't bad. It was still pretty capable. The fact that now we have 335 horsepower, this is really big for the ID4. It's also big for the ID Buzz, which is coming to America soon, and maybe even sooner too, if it doesn't get delayed, the Volkswagen ID7, which would be the first EV sedan here in America for Volkswagen. So the ID4 and the ID Buzz actually hold these upgrades, that increase range, the 335 horsepower. This is really, really big for ID4, ID Buzz, and ID7. And especially for ID7 as well, this is going to bring the minivan game back to VW, back here in America, and Volkswagen has the chance to kill it. And we have multiple different trims, which we covered before, featuring things like premium audio from Harman Kardon, panoramic glass roof, 12.9-inch infotainment system. We have seen how that vehicle is over across the pond, and it's a really, really nice vehicle. So the ID4 and the ID Buzz are really, really big vehicles because even though the ID7 is not listed on here yet, this is going to bring in a lot of what we would see for ID7. So that is really, really big to see there. One of my personal favorites, the Jetta and the Jetta GLI. The Jetta is a nice car. very, very affordable, a great value. For the most part, compared to the other VWs, it's been pretty reliable for VW standard. Obviously, there have been years with the Jetta where it just has kind of been a failure. But the Jetta has always been a cool model. I have always loved the Jetta GLI, especially the current Jetta GLI. I just think, this is the last year they're going to do a manual on it. You get just enough horsepower, great fuel efficiency. It's a great value. Usually holds its equity pretty well, and it's very affordable. I've always just loved the Jetta GLI. It's like, it's when you don't want or need a GTI, but you want a little bit of the fun of the GTI, but you still want a little bit of practicality with just, a proper trunk and, maybe two bigger doors, even though it's still a compact sedan. I've always loved the Jetta GLI. I'm really excited to see what VW is going to do for 2025 when the updated Jetta and Jetta GLI will be unveiled in late 2024. So in Q2, that's going to be really, really exciting. The Taos as well. The Taos is a really cool vehicle. It's a compact SUV from Volkswagen. It is quite comprehensive in terms of what they give you for the price on the starting trim. I will say though, the Taos does get quite pricey in the higher trims, and for that price, I would probably rather pay for other vehicles, including like Mazda CX-30 or CX, some of those other smaller vehicles that you can get a little bit more power, a little bit more horsepower. The Taos though is still a really, really cool vehicle, but I wouldn't buy one of those higher end Taoses, because once you're in the 30s range and all that, you might as well just get a Volkswagen Tiguan, or depending on how high you are with the Taos, you might as well even just get an Atlas or a Cross Sport. But I'm excited to see what the Taos does, because there is obviously a need for SUVs all over the world, especially here in America, and there's a need for compact SUVs. Not everybody needs a big one, and that's okay. Some people just need a city car or a commuter car, good fuel efficiency, something that can go on the highway, but isn't a race car. And so I think that's great for a lot of people. We're not going to see that until late Q3 in 2024, but we are going to see that in 2024 as well. The Tiguan, as a current Tiguan owner, I will say I really like the Tiguan. Obviously, I own one. I do wish that VW would sell the European models that they get in the rest of the world, especially the R models, because the American model has one downside, and that it is literally dangerously slow. There is no passing power. That vehicle has no power. It is extremely underpowered. If VW is to do one thing, they need to upgrade the powertrain. And now we do have news here, all new for the 2025 model. They're not going to reveal any details or anything until later this year. So if we look at this for 2025, I mean, this is a big year for VW, because we're going to see new Jetta and Jetta GLI in 2024. We're going to see a new Taos 2024. We're going to see a new Tiguan 2024. We're going to see not only the ID4, but we're going to see with the ID4, which we have now, how that's going to lead to ID Buzz when it debuts in 2025. And then hopefully from there, ID7. And even that, we will see, as we see down here, more with the EPA estimate range and pricing for ID Buzz, which will come to launch in Q4 of this year. Then we're going to see the Golf GTI and the Golf R. And we've already seen what the Golf GTI Club Sport looks like over across the pond. So when the Golf GTI and the Golf R, especially the Golf R when it debuts in Europe, we're going to see that. And that's going to be a market introduction early 2025. So we're going to probably see that debut either early into next year or just before, closer to the end of this year. For the Atlas and the Cross Sport, we have seen the significant changes for 2024, but those changes have kind of already happened. So not to say that it's not new, but it's not something that's necessarily upcoming, as we have already seen it. Obviously, the biggest thing too with Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport, one of the biggest changes was going from a VR6 to all turbos. On the older Atlas and Cross Sport, you used to have either the 2-liter turbocharged engine or the VR6. Personally, I had always liked the Atlas and the Atlas Cross Sport. I am a little bit, though, of the older school mentality, so I like a V6. So personally for me, I would not consider an Atlas or an Atlas Cross Sport anymore because of the VR6 being gone. Yes, the turbo engines make roughly the same amount of power, about 5 less horsepower, but they make a little bit more torque and they are more efficient. I would rather have the VR6. I've driven the VR6 before and VR6 Passats and a few other VR6 vehicles from VW. It was an amazing engine, pretty reliable, super smooth too, and it was a really nice engine overall. And for that reason, for me, I wouldn't consider an Atlas and an Atlas Cross Sport anymore. But like I said, those changes have already happened on the Atlas and the Atlas Cross Sport, so we're not really going to worry about it too much. But what we are going to see is essentially, I mean, Golf GTI and Golf R, that's 2 models right there. ID4 has already happened, but that's going to lead for ID Buzz and ID7. So that's another 2 models right there, we can say. Jetta and Jetta GLI, it's another 2 models, right? Taos, it's another model. Tiguan, it's another model. So when you look at that, that's 8 models. That is 8 models that we are going to see from VW that are going to either be all new or receive facelifts for 2025 model year. So 2024 is a big year for VW, and we're going to call it there. That is going to be the end of the video. Let me know what you guys and girls think down below this. Are you excited for what the future of what VW holds? Does it not really matter to you? Let me know what you think down below. Personally, I'm pretty excited for Golf GTI and Golf R, but really I'm most excited for the Jetta GLI. That's what I'm excited for. Let me know what you guys and girls think down below. This is going to do it for now, and like always, thanks for watching, everyone.